just start off. We voted on a provision, an allegation of abuse of power. There was an abuse of power at the Department of Justice. There was an abuse of power at the FBI. There was an abuse of power at the FISA court. There was abuse of power in our intel community. There was abuse of power. Even DOD was paying money to help set up the president. So there were all kinds of abuses of power, perhaps none more so than in the House of Representatives by the majority. This is a sad day for the country. It's going nowhere in the Senate, but I really hope and pray the Senate will not just pick it up and dismiss it. America needs to hear from the witnesses, and we didn't get to hear from them here. This was a kangaroo court. Outrageous to put the country through this, and we get a report, and we don't even get to examine the maker of the report. So it's a very sad day.
This is really a travesty for America, and it's really tearing America apart. I have never in my entire life seen such an unfair, rigged railroad job against the President of the United States. I have known that my fellow Democrats were going to go for impeachment since January of this year when they got power.
I think the American people are going to militate against this. I think the polling shows that they've been very frustrated. They see what's happened here. They see the lack of evidence. They see this paper-thin impeachment proceeding, what ultimately developed of it, that there's nothing behind it. I think we showed that very clearly, and I think there's going to be a huge political price paid by the Democrats at the polls next year. And what we're ultimately concerned about, beyond the price that's paid in this short-term period, is what this is going to do to our republic going forward. The founders were right. They have divided the country even further, and I think that it's going to be very difficult for us in this institution to put this genie back in the bottle, and that's ultimately what we're all so concerned about.
Democrats said that the evidence would have to be overwhelming, and yet in hearing after hearing, the evidence they presented was either hearsay, speculation and conjecture, or the result of a policy disagreement about how to treat the Ukraine. Democrats promised that after public hearings, there would be some newfound animated public support for impeachment. The reality is they failed to meet their burden. And so now, with no bipartisanship, matter of fact, the only bipartisan vote will be a bipartisan vote against impeachment. With no direct evidence, with no enhanced public support for impeachment, Democrats will continue to visit the opportunity costs for this division on our country.